29-27. Bears win the exhibition 2025 exhibition NFL championship game over the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm your man, LA Cheatham.
What's going on, good people? It's Benjamin Banneker here. Yo. What's this? This is a repeat for the Bears winning the exhibition season.
The entire offseason exhibition. They went out and got they won the draft last year with the number one pick, grabbing Caleb Williams. Now they paired him with a head coach and Ben Johnson for 2 years in a row. They have won the offseason. But this has been a very interesting offseason for the past 3 weeks throughout these exhibition games, I must say.
Yeah, this is probably one of the most laid back and chill and just kind of letting everything play out preseasons that I've probably had with the Bears in about the last decade. Just based off of how last season went. I know you optioned off your fandom for 2 years with an option for a third. But I'm still in.
Well, and that's going to be exciting. That's going to be really exciting for the fans. I'm like you said again, I am suspended. This is my second season of suspension. I've been suspended since March of 2024 from my Bears fandom, but I will enjoy the shield. But with that being said, the addition of Ben Johnson becoming the Bears head football coach has come with a lot of speculation from my standpoint. From the very moment when they was talking about his approach to practice, his approach to detail, no nonsense guy. Just a lot of different interesting storylines up until the last couple weeks. Now, of course, we weren't able to come on and talk about the Buffalo Bills game, exhibition game, which was game 2. Now, in my opinion, they joint practice with the Bills before that game. And in my opinion, the Bills didn't show up at all. After the Bears tied with Miami in an exhibition game, I think it was 24-24, they went out to blow the Bills out 38-0. Mm-hmm. Now, Caleb in the first string offense looked really good in that game against the Bills. In the first series, I think they only won one series, right?
Series, yeah.
Straight down the field, scored a touchdown. Tyson Bagent kind of took over after that, along with the second and third string offense and defense, and the Bears commenced to putting down a 38-0 whooping on the Buffalo Bills. In my opinion, all I could draw from that game was the Buffalo Bills look like crap. As good as the Bears look, as that game went on, I just came to the understanding that the Buffalo Bills weren't very good. They didn't give up any effort, and I wondered if they did the Bears any favors in that matchup by playing the way they did. I think they only started 2 starters, and particularly on defense. I think DeMar Hamlin started in that game, yeah. and he was operating under the NBA rule of freedom of movement defense. He did everything he could not to get hurt. In my opinion, that's just how I saw it. So I just thought that was a false sense of hope for the Bears. I mean, it looked like I'll tell you what, the Bills looked like they were just playing token defense. Like, I'm here, but I'm not here, and I'm not trying to get hurt.
Like 707, Jill.
Yeah, like a damn walkthrough. Yeah, that's what it looked like. That's what that first drive looked like. Like you said, 707 drill, straight down the field. And matter of fact, I think they started at the 3-yard line after a botch kickoff.
Yep.
and march all the way down the field. Matter of fact, it was a 98-yard drive. Anyway, the Bears going to beat them 38-0. What was your take on that game in particular before we jump into between the Bears and the Chiefs going into game in week number 3 preseason?
My take was more so with the local sports media and the fan base in general after that game, and even a lot of national media too, because it was looking like they was just so ready for something positive to happen for Caleb, so they could jump on the seat. He's not a bus bandwagon. Like he didn't have adequate coaching and yada 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 on down the list last year. So they were so quick to jump on. Look, he can do something good. He can, play on time. He can get the ball out. Him and Ben Johnson, that's going to be, something to watch because we know that's good for ratings and what they do. But, and I'm telling you, I haven't watched too much national coverage. Haven't heard too much of, my ESPN 1000s. Didn't he look like this last year versus the Bills when he was making some plays that everybody was wowing over? Remember, he scrambled out to the side the one time and hit, I think, Cole Kmet on the sideline, and everybody was enamored with that. Remember, he hit Swift on the flip on the screen pass, and everybody was like enamored with that. That was against the Bills too. And how did the rest of things go?
That score was 33-6, I believe. It was a blowout as well. But see, this was the difference between that 2024 preseason game in Buffalo and the 2025 preseason game. What we saw was Caleb actually play on time and on script.
Mm-hmm.
And if I remember correctly, in the game against Buffalo, the previous exhibition game of 2024, he did a few more hero ball, a little bit more hero ball. Wasn't as much. Right. It wasn't as much on time outside of that screen pass, and I think he even bootlegged out to make that play, if I'm not mistaken. It was like a little short dump off.
Yeah, the pocket collapsed on him. You talking about when he ran out?
I'm talking about in 2024. The difference between 2024 and 2025. 2025 against the Buffalo Bills preseason, it looked like it was more pocket presence, get the ball out quick. It was a different type of performance, and it gave the national media and local media a lot to talk about for the next few days. And they saw what they thought they wanted to see.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was positive feelings after both of them. They both looked different, but both the national media was, ready to anoint Caleb last year because I guess he was the generational prospect, so he had to come out and look as good as C.J. Stroud. They was greasing the skids for that.
Yeah.
So it was positive feelings around that. And then how he came out and looked, and he played on time, and he hit his reads, and he put the ball where he needed to be. Like I said, 98-yard drive. The Bears didn't score an opening touchdown on the drive all last season.
Last year.
So it was a lot of positive feelings. Yeah, it looked different, but the characters kind of was the same with Caleb, and everybody was like, "We got our guy. We got our guy." And
not to mention Luther Burton looking good.
Yeah.
What's your tight end name? The Wolverine.
Colston Loveland.
Colston Loveland looked good. They had some guys pop in that game that was a lot more to talk about other than just Caleb. But the big story was Caleb getting off to a great start, and then Tyson Bagent came out after that drive, and he got a lot of reps in. And if you've been following this training camp, they've been talking about reps, getting more reps. Well, as far as practice is concerned, maybe Caleb getting all more reps by being the first string quarterback or the franchise guy. But as far as what we've seen as fans in the preseason games, it's been Tyson Bagent getting all the reps. And shortly after the Buffalo game, it was a short week.
Yeah.
Because the Bears played Kansas City on a Friday night from a Sunday night to a Friday night. Keep in mind. And they go in between Sunday night and Friday night. Tyson Bagent gets an extension,
Mm-hmm.
2 years, $10 million.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where my speculation came in at, because he's getting all the reps in the preseason games. He's obviously getting more comfortable with the offense, at least the vanilla portion of the offense.
Mm-hmm.
Ben Johnson's been praising him, talking about his work ethic and his approach to practice and meetings and stuff like this. Then all of a sudden he get this extension. Okay, now we get to Friday night, which is Kansas City Chiefs. Made the announcement they were playing their starters.
Right.
So that kind of forced the Bears' hand to at least play their starters as well.
Kansas City made the announcement first?
I believe so.
Okay.
And I think that kind of forced, even though Ben Johnson probably wanted to do it anyway, they're probably, and that was a nationally televised game, was it?
I know the Sunday night one was. I don't know about this Friday night.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, so the Kansas City Chiefs put it out there. We playing our starters. The Bears played their starters. And the defense didn't look very good on first team defense for the Bears.
Nope.
And the offense didn't look. They looked very different from what we saw a week before against the Bills. And that's why I come back to tell you that's why I felt like the Bills did the Bears no favors. Because everyone knows at least the top 3 teams in the AFC is Baltimore, Buffalo, Kansas City. You can flip it in however you want it. Kansas City, Baltimore, however you want to put it.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the top 3 teams in the AFC. Okay? The Bears had an opportunity to face off in the preseason against 2 of those teams and to see how championship level teams operate. I don't think the Bills did them any favors, and they went into KC, first game on the road in the exhibition season, and looked like they were not ready for the physicality in the game. KC came out looking like, look, your guy is not our guy, and we're going to show you why. And that's exactly what I seen Friday night.
Now, let me ask you this. What did you think about the second unit being able to mount the comeback like you did? Are you giving weight to that, or are you just kind of poo-pooing that, like, guys was just trying to get off the field and get to the regular season healthy?
I find it hard to believe that, okay, we obviously know that the first string Bears got dominated by the first string Kansas City Chiefs on both sides of the football.
Mm-hmm.
But when you talk about this is the last opportunity to play in a game, some of these guys are playing in their last football game, period. You're trying to make a roster. I find it hard to believe that anybody's out there at that point in time, especially if you're already on the second string, falling down to the third string, maybe even getting cut from this team with one last opportunity to show. I find it hard to believe that anybody's cutting corners or trying not to get hurt. Especially when you talk about the influence of Ben Johnson, all the high praise we're getting about maximum effort, attention to detail, and I know we're not going to question the ability of Andy Reid to get guys to try and make his team. So no, I do not.
Okay.
I don't question the effort. I think everybody was trying to win, and I believe what happened with the Bears won the football game. Just brings me back to the fact Tyson Bagent gets this extension. I found out that Case Keenum had gotten injured. I didn't know that, but I guess that probably triggered the extension. But I kind of doubt it.
What? How long is Case?
They got this thing done. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I didn't even know it was injured. I haven't checked the injury report. As far I don't know what his injury is. At this time of the year, they don't really tell you what the injuries are. They just say they're injured because they don't really have to report it. So they didn't. I don't think they went as specific as to what his injury was, but we do know he was injured. At least we do know he was not available to play or whatever. But
Case
Case
day to day with
Bajan
a
got a
leg
lot of
injury.
reps. Go ahead.
Case is day to day with a leg injury. That was from August 15th. So it just say a leg injury.
That's what I'm saying. They don't get specific about exactly what it is. Jalen Johnson's been out all camp, and they're just saying it's calf. They're not saying exactly what it is. They're just telling you what part of the body it is. They don't go into the severity of what it may be. They don't have to report that until, I guess,
Regular season.
opening week.
Yeah.
When they get ready to, to announce the rosters for each week, putting guys on injury, whatever, injury reserve, the pup list, whatever you want to call it. So, okay, so Caleb struggles with the first team offense. And here comes Tyson Bajan, with I guess second string, and he had to play with third string too. His stat line, I think he was like 21 of 28. I'm not sure. Let me see it.
Yeah.
I think he was like 21 of 28. I think like I'm gonna say I want to say 212 yards.
20 of
Three
28, 212, and 3 touchdowns.
three touchdowns, right? And the last touchdown was the game winning touchdown that put him up 29-27. Now keep in mind the Bears, I think they went down 17-0 in this game.
Yeah. Was it 17? It was 20 to.
They should have went down 21-0, but I forget who it was, dropped the touchdown pass in the end zone from Mahomes. Okay,
Yeah, it
they
was
couldn't
20
get
to
no
10 at
pressure on
halftime.
Mahomes.
Yeah. It's 20 to 10 at halftime.
Okay, so Bajan comes out, puts up those numbers, get all those reps with second string and third string guys, I would like to believe. And when I'm leaving this after outside of that, the who won the game and all that means nothing because everybody goes back to 0-0. But I'm coming away from this game like, matter of fact, before I go, did you hear the press conference? You probably didn't hear the press conference after
Uh-uh.
that game.
Uh-uh.
And Ben Johnson kind of touched on the way the offense looked in the first drive or first few drives. Let's mention that Caleb did throw a touchdown pass to Rome Odunze on his last drive. I mean, we can't go without mentioning that. He did drive him down the field and get a successful drive before he stepped off the field. But Ben Johnson talked about the overall operation of the offense. It wasn't very good. And he even was alluding to the fact that, Caleb held the ball a little too long at times, getting back to some of the old habits. So when I get back to this extension, and a lot of the fans are split on this. You still got your Bajan fans, and you got your Caleb fans. And the thing is, Bajan's got more reps. It's been alluded to that Bajan knows the playbook a lot more than Caleb. It's been even alluded that Bajan fits the offensive scheme better than Caleb. So what does Ben Johnson think? That's what I want to know. I mean, I haven't even really gotten into who's going to make the team. I'm not going to even dive that deep. The most interesting thing about the Bears at this point is how is Ben Johnson feeling about his two quarterbacks, first and second string, and what's separating the two. And I think the pressure's on Caleb to play really, really well, even more, because we kind of speculated that Caleb had to play well anyway going into week 4 going in for the first 4 weeks of the season up to 4 to 8 weeks of the season.
Right.
I kind of felt like Caleb had to play well anyway. But when you add to the fact that you're giving Tyson Bagent his extension and you're praising him as much as you are, talking about how he's just diving into the playbook and he just so ahead of the game, it would appear the pressure's on Caleb. And he might not get 4 weeks. That's the crazy part. He may not he may not get 4 weeks. Now, that's the most interesting thing with the Bears to me right now.
So it was a lot there. So we are, like you said, you alluded to, we already had called out that Ben Johnson parallel to when Matt Nagy was coach here, and remember he pulled Trubisky and went with Foles because he just fit his system, what he wanted to do better. I don't think it's 1,000% dismissible that there's nothing to it. Like all this is happenstance, Ben praising Tyson Bagent as much as he can. Like he's not just doing that for no reason. There is some smoke, some fire to that smoke. It really is.
And if there's no smoke, he's most definitely got a book of matches ready to light something up.
Exactly. And so, but I think being going into it with Caleb solid as the starter, but
no, I don't think that's the case right now. But continue.
No, I think Ben going in solid with Caleb as the starter, and you said like 4 weeks. It depends on how he look just marginal, and they are 3-1, 2-2. Has he played not well, and they 4-0? Like he can't make no change. Then that's what I'm saying. I think he get
he couldn't do that. It'd be too controversial. It's kind of like when Justin Fields went 4-2 with Pittsburgh, and they made that change.
Right.
If Caleb Williams goes 3-1, 4-0, even 2-2, you can't make that change.
Exactly.
You can't make that change. Even if he goes 2-2, you cannot make that change. It's going to be very controversial. I just wonder sometimes, man. What
if Caleb come out and looks great, but the defense just for whatever reason can't hold up, and they 0-4? You can't remember.
That's not on Caleb. That's the problem Joe Burrow has in Cincinnati. We will obviously notice. I would like to believe we will notice that. Because the defense would have to be very bad for that to happen. And I mean, when I say that, they got to be giving up anywhere from 24 points a game. You know what I'm saying? Putting the pressure on Caleb to score at least 30 points a game just to win a football game. And then he go back to his days at USC. The question is, if that was to happen, how will Caleb be responding to the adversity of having to score more points? Will he rely on his athleticism, or will he be as patient as the coach and be methodical about winning, scoring football? So it's so many different layers.
Yeah.
It's so many different layers. It's so many ways we can look at it. And me personally, I don't like to get sports nerdy about stuff like that because I don't like playing games in my head. I like to watch the game and feel to decipher it out. So I don't want to get too, what I mean. If you listen to a lot of content creators and a lot of our local media, I mean, they do it every day. And they do it every day. And it's hard not to get sports nerdy about all these different scenarios that play out in your head about a particular player, a particular team, a particular outcome. I try not to do that. I try and sit back and have a little patience about things when it comes to athletes, individual. I don't care if it's NBA, NFL, especially with the position of quarterback. I'm a 3-year guy. I don't get excited after 1 year. So like even with Jaden Daniels, it's like, okay, there's tape on Jaden. Where's the adjustments going to come in? Where's the adjustments going to come in at? Kind of like with C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud and the Houston Texans kind of bagged into the playoffs last season. He didn't have a good season as he did as his rookie year. So I'm a 3-year guy. So with that being said, I guess I got to give Caleb 3 years. That's why I'm suspended for the second season.
with the
you know,
option, with the
with the
option.
option of the third, because it's been a lot of it's been a lot of change. The way it came about, I didn't agree with, so that's why I'm at with it. The most interesting thing to me going into the season is that scenario, the quarterback position. How much is Caleb picking up? Because I think the pressure's on him to perform in structure, in structure, and being and having the privilege to coach. I can understand what Ben Johnson is like. Some coaches have the ability to coach the roster that's around them.
Right.
Some coaches get locked in on system. We don't know what Ben Johnson is yet. And that's the fine line for him. Is he Can he coach roster? Or is he fixed on a scheme where he's gonna want Caleb Williams to play like golf,
Yeah.
which that it's a lot of scenarios, man. I don't want to get into them so much, but before we wrap up on that, I'm gonna let you finish that topic off, and we'll go off into our next. How you feel about it
Yeah, like
going into week one?
just you talking about the Tyson basis. Yeah, I think I mean they gave Tyson the money for security. I don't think we're gonna see Tyson before Thanksgiving, dare I say? Like I think we be looking. When is the bye week? When's the bye week?
The bye week, they go 4 games. After week 4, they go into a bye week. So week 5, they'll be in the bye week after the Oakland. After they go to Las Vegas and play the Raiders.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm thinking more so we got to be middle of the season, towards middle of the season, before we would even really get significant Tyson Bagent chatter. Because, like you just said, we got to figure out, can Ben Johnson coach the roster, or is Ben Johnson gonna coach his scheme? We got to figure out, can Caleb play in the scheme, or can Caleb only play backyard football? And you got to give it enough time to see that pan out. Like 3-4 games. I know, is Bryce Young got sat down last year after he started his whole first year, and then he got sat down, had to watch, came back. And I know that's kind of like the model to thinking we do it, but each individual situation is different. And Ben Johnson coming in so highly touted as he is, like we got to give that combination, that connection, a little bit more leeway, runway before we, make that decision.
Yeah. But when it's all said and done, Ben Johnson has all the juice.
Yeah, what we say, him
Okay.
and Kevin Warren, right?
Yeah, he has all the juice. From week 1 to week 17, this has been Johnson's team.
Yep.
Kevin Warren, he better worry about getting the shovel in the ground, regardless if it's in Arlington Heights or if it's in the downtown section of the city of Chicago.
Yeah,
That's Kevin Warren's biggest battle right now. Ben Johnson has all the juice on the football field. I think
1,000.
even more so than Ryan Poles. Is there any other? Because that's the only thing right now that I can think of that really concerns me going into week 1. And I'm gonna make a prediction. The Bears will beat the Minnesota Vikings on Monday Night Football on week 1. This is why I say this. I haven't watched much of the Minnesota Vikings, but JJ McCarthy has not been getting reps. One of the biggest things we've been talking about in Chicago is for Caleb Williams, a second year guy, getting reps. And here's McCarthy, a rookie by all intents and purposes. I mean, he didn't play a game last season. He's a second
Exactly.
year guy, technically, but he didn't play any, didn't throw a football, didn't throw a pass in the National Football League.
Right.
He came from a scheme in Ann Arbor, won a national championship, where he probably handed it off 30 to 40 times a game to 2 or
Yeah.
3 different running backs. There's not a lot of games we can remember where he kind of won any games on his arm. He made some plays here and there. So, very good athlete at times. Been considered kind of small at times. He even lost weight between last year and this year. I guess he may have put it back on, coming off a knee injury. Um, I have the Bears beating the Vikings for that reason alone. I believe the game can have the potential of being sloppy with two young quarterbacks and two very aggressive defensive coordinators with Brian
Brian Flores.
Flores in
Yeah.
Minnesota and then Dennis Allen uh, taking his chances in Chicago. I believe that game can be very sloppy. But we can get off into that later when we get close to that game. Unless you have anything else you want to bring, but
No, I
I
think
want
you
to get
did.
into a little
Yeah.
bit of
The only thing
yeah.
you left out, I think, was that's Monday Night Football, and for JJ to be making his first NFL start. Now we get it; all these guys are professionals, but that's a big time spot. I know you played at Michigan. I know you played in the college football playoff 2 years, but that's not Monday Night Football. Your
Mm-mm.
first time out
Yeah,
as the starter, as the franchise. Like that's
yeah,
that's a whole nother level of ball game to deal with.
yeah,
So yeah, but
yeah.
everything else you said, I'm right with you.
I'm gonna say this for JJ before I move on. For JJ to play well, first of all, he has to one know what he's doing, but mentally he has to tap into his experiences. What do I mean when I say that? JJ needs to look himself in the mirror and say, "I played for the national championship. I was the only game on at that time. All eyes were on me and my team." And if he can hang his hat on that, that can get him through a little bit. After that, it's going to come down to just being effective, knowing what the hell you're doing, and adapting to the NFL speed. That's all I got. But we going to step into that. We 2 weeks, I guess we a week and a half away from week one, Monday Night Football kicking off. Minnesota going into Soldier Field against the Chicago Bears. We haven't even gotten into the roster construction. Maybe we can do that at some time because I'm not really going to eat. I'm not going to get into who's going to get cut and all. I'm just going to
Yeah, that's
respond to
pretty much.
whoever's on the field. I don't even want to do that. I mean, that's just like predicting wins and losses. I mean, I'll go 1 week at a time and we'll do it like that because when you throw these injuries in and all that, you just don't know what the NFL. You just don't know. You can't look too far ahead. Um, but Shedeur Shedeur went down uh, with all the speculation after he played so well in his first opportunity to get up to week one exhibition game. I think they played against was it Carolina,
Yeah,
and Shedeur looked really really well. And I don't know if you want to put a lot of stock in preseason football, but for any rookie to go out and execute the way they have, especially at the quarterback position, it was to be applauded. But he went down with some type of injury in the second week, and then he came back
pectoral.
in the third week.
Yeah, he had
Go ahead.
a pectoral injury that kept him out of week 2,
Yeah.
and then there was a lot of speculation about the offensive philosophy when he was on the field. The guys that he was playing with, if he was supposed to be in contention for at least the backup role. We ain't gonna say we can take starter off the table because they said Joe Flacco was gonna start. But if he was in contention for the backup role, really, why didn't he get time with the twos? Why was he out there with the threes? It's a lot of a lot of fishy, observations and ways you can be looking at his time on the field. Now, he did hold the ball too long at times, but again,
You
they
talking about in the second game?
get the one he just most recently.
His second
Yeah,
opportunity, which was week 3.
yeah.
Who were they playing against the Rams? Were they? They were
Not,
going against the Rams
was it the
in
Rams? It
Cleveland.
was in
Yeah,
Cleveland. Yeah.
yeah. They were going against the Rams. Uh huh.
But yeah,
Um,
just a lot there, and then him not getting the opportunity to lead the 2-minute drive. Um,
that's what I'm getting to.
yeah, that I mean that reeks of a whole, different kind of stench. You know what I'm saying? And then
Yeah.
for the guy to actually get the reps, he potentially may be getting cut and may not be on the team. So, that math ain't math, and 1 and 1 ain't 1.
Yeah.
Ain't 2, my
Yes.
bad.
It's a lot of speculations as to whether or not he was sabotaged by his own teammates, and it brings me back to the question you had about the Bears game, about the effort factor at that point during the Bears game, with the Bears coming back and blowing out the Chiefs the way they did. So here we go again. Cleveland offensive line. I don't know if it was the offensive line or was it Shedeur. It probably was a little bit of both. I think he got sacked 5 times. I think he probably had a total of 6 yards passing, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. Maybe it was more, but it was nothing like his first opportunity in week 1 of the preseason. He was very frustrated. Then you get, I think the Browns were winning the game when he got in. I think it was like 16-10. I think it was in late in the third, or early in the fourth. But he didn't look that well. People wonder if they were kind of sabotaging. But my thing is, think about this: everybody's out there getting, everyone's on tape.
Mm-hmm.
All 5 offensive linemen, all the skill guys. This may be their last opportunity to play in a football game. So it's very hard to say that they were purposely playing as bad as they were. With that being it, with all with those stakes being as high as they were, as far as I mean, you could be working at the car dealership next week, or you can be turning in your playbook today and be working at the dealership next week, or you can be on somebody's roster, based on the fact that you put on good tape, and you may not be with the Cleveland Browns, but you can be somewhere else in the NFL. So I
Mm-hmm.
find it hard to believe that the effort wasn't there, and I find it hard to believe they were sabotaged. Now, what that means is those second and third string guys that were on the field were not very good.
Mm-hmm.
That's the
Especially the
conclusion.
offensive line. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the conclusion I come to. Now, Shedeur was taken off the field. Well, I don't say he was taken off. He was not allowed to go back on the field for the 2-minute drive. When at this point, the Browns were down by 1, or something like that, because I believe the Rams that came down and scored a touchdown. I think they went up, I think it was 17-16 at that time. So if the perfect opportunity for Shedeur to go out and right all the wrongs and end this preseason on a very high note, and he did not get the call to go back out. He was really upset. That's when I was kind of all over the place. I think I was watching some college football games, going all over the place. Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
that's when I was actually tuned in. But at that point, Shedeur was on the sideline complaining, and I knew instantly. I say, well, there's the storyline for at least till Tuesday, at least
Mm-hmm.
till the cut down day. There's the storyline that come Monday morning. That's going to be the talk until at least Tuesday, until we know the future of Shedeur Sanders in the Cleveland Browns, as far as whether or not he makes that team, on the practice team, gets cut, whatever, what have you. Very controversial, and it made you think about all the things they said about Shedeur. It wasn't a good look. It wasn't a good look by the Browns, and it wasn't a good look by Shedeur. I mean, it's Cleveland. How else could it have turned out?
Cleveland. Nobody
Yeah.
wants to go to Cleveland.
And we didn't even get into the fact that the week before that Dylan Gabriel was making the comments that, I'm a competitor.
Exactly.
I'm not
Some
an
people.
entertainer.
Exactly.
People
Yeah.
took that story for the next few days, and they wanted to process that the way they wanted to do it. You have your Shedeur fans that say, "Hey, he was talking about Shedeur." You had you had your media that was willing to believe. Look, Stephen A was one. They say, I don't think he took a shot at Shedeur, but it was stupid for him to say that.
Yeah.
So they took that quote, and it was heard that he had used it before in college. I mean, I never paid attention to it, but
Well, his head coach said that too. Remember, Dan Lanning said that about
yeah,
Dion. Dion
yeah,
first year
that's
at
what I
Colorado.
heard. That's what I
Yeah,
heard. So
we do it for
maybe that's where he got
wins.
it from. And even
Yeah,
Dylan Gabriel said that he's used it before, but they took it, they made a story out of it, and then the Cleveland Browns had another story the next week with the ending of this preseason game, which they won. Tyler Snoop Huntley took them down the field, and they were able to kick a field goal and win the football game. I think 1917, dramatic fashion, with the headline still being Shedeur Sanders.
yeah.
So, and then the segue into that, Shiloh goes out and gets ejected in his last preseason game. Just man, the Sanders family got to be on pins and needles about these roster constructions coming up the next few days.
Yeah.
Like, not so much from the financial end, but just did I make the squad? And let me back up because I think Shiloh has actually been waived already. And we still waiting to hear the fate of Shedeur in the Cleveland Browns.
That's I thought Shiloh was gonna actually make the team. But we got to check that to see if he did actually get waived. But that's crazy to think that both Deion Sanders kids could be by Tuesday not on the
Cut.
NFL roster.
Yeah, I don't find it by surprise. I mean, I do for Shedeur,
That's what I
but
mean. Both of
but
them
we
not
yeah,
on the
yeah.
NFL roster. Both of them.
I kind of
Yeah,
figured Shiloh might have a rough go of it, and that's not to say they won't get picked up because I believe there's some title contenders, at least for Shiloh. Shiloh has the most room for error in this process because he plays the position
it
with
did.
not as much pressure. So Shiloh, I believe, if he did get waived by the
The
Tampa Bay
Buccaneers.
Buccaneers, he will end up on someone's practice squad. Now, Shador, on the other hand, if Cleveland does not, if he does not make the roster, and if he is lucky enough to be on the practice squad, I don't see him sitting on that practice squad for long.
They
I
can't
can
have
see
him on.
Jerry Jones. I can see Jerry Jones going to get Shador.
I was just gonna ask you that, but
I
well,
can see it.
yeah, because Jerry likes the headlines. Jerry don't care about Dak feelings. Jerry just want people talking about the Cowboys. Jerry want to turn on First Take and First Things First and all these sports shows and see the Cowboys somewhere in the A or B block. And he wants to make sure that the Cowboys still get 3:30 games on Sunday and Sunday night football. That's what Jerry on. So yeah, I can see Jerry doing that. Uh, if I'm Dak Prescott, I'm not happy about that. Like, damn, like you just paid me. I just
Yeah, I don't see. I think Dak knows if that was to happen. I don't think Dak would see that is any type of threat. I mean, you got to remember the Dallas Cowboys had Trey Lance, and they didn't play him at all. He was just there. So if they were to pick up Shador, I don't think Dak would be threatened at all. It'd be just another
Trey Lance ain't
sideshow.
Trey Lance don't come with the
Yeah,
noise
but
that Shedeur
he
come with.
don't. But
Yeah,
he didn't. But the storyline of you got to remember, Trey Lance was picked up. I think he was number 3 in the draft. He had his own story.
yeah,
It wasn't Shador, but he had his own story, and yet Jerry Jones was willing to take that kid on, let him be a Cowboy, and every opportunity he had to play him, he didn't do it, and it led me to wonder why. So we talk about Dak. Dak ain't worried about that unless he's injured. That's the only way. That's the only. I don't know who the backup is in Dallas.
Cooper
They
Rush, I
got your
believe.
boy. It's Joe Milton's is in
Oh yeah,
Dallas
yeah,
as
yeah,
well.
yeah.
So so I just don't think that if that was to happen, Dak would be concerned about or be too worried about that at all. But I'm just saying that I believe the Cowboys is one of those teams that will be willing to pick Shador up and let him be a Cowboy and kind of bask in the glow of the star. And he can actually be Shedeur in Dallas. Think about that. He could act, regardless if he's playing or not, he could be Shedeur in Dallas. They're gonna let his star shine.
Yeah.
If that was to happen, they would let his star shine in
Is
Dallas.
it anywhere just quick over? Is there anywhere else you think he could end up?
Let me think. That was the only one that really come to mind. Because I think if you're taking on Shedeur, you got to be willing to take on the backdrop of the story,
Right. Exactly.
and it's got to fit within the construction of your franchise. And Shedeur going to Dallas, even if you don't play it down, Dallas is so big. Their arms are so big and so welcoming. They got room for Shedeur in his in whatever comes with Shedeur. They got room for it. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm
I
saying.
got one for you. I got
What's
one
that?
for you, and I just thought of it.
Hey, I would suggest that the Arizona Cardinals pick him up though, because I believe they're gonna need a quarterback in 2 years anyway.
That ain't who I
Go
was
ahead.
gonna say, but that's a good one. But the Vegas Raiders. The
I can
Vegas
see
Raiders.
that.
Yeah. They
I
could
can go
deal
with
with
that.
they could deal with the Shedeur package. They
Yeah,
want that type of it's
yeah,
Vegas.
yeah,
And he's closer to getting on the field and Pete Carroll's the type of coach that will bring Shedeur in and really kind of bring him under his arm and coach. We saw him do it with Russell Wilson. We saw how he put him in a bubble.
yeah,
Like if he think he can win with Shedeur, yeah, he'll put his arm around.
yeah. But you got a point there. So Dallas, if he doesn't make the Browns, Dallas is somewhere I think he could fit. Maybe Arizona, because I think even that'll be a low key spot. But I think he'll have a real opportunity in Arizona. I don't even know who the backup is, but I do not have a lot of faith in Kyler Murray. And I think he would have a legitimate shot if Kyler Murray was to go down. And it had to be. I'm not saying he's better than Kyler Murray. I think Kyler Murray has way too much experience. I'm just saying that at this point, I think the Arizona Cardinals got to be kind of down or expecting him to get the job done. They got to be ready to take that next step, or they're going to be starting over soon. And Shedeur might fit the mix there.
No, that was a good one. I was trying to just scan the league real quick and think, and then Vegas just popped up. Um,
Yeah,
dare we say Seattle? Because I mean they got Sam Darnold. I mean
yeah, but
they
it's a
paid
side.
for him.
What I'm saying is you got to be willing to handle the sideshow. It's it's what comes with Shedeur, and you got to remember they got Jalen Milrow. They're trying to figure that thing out too. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand what you're saying, but they do have. I mean, Jalen Milrow was just as big a name as Shedeur was in college football for different reasons. Jalen Milrow was playing for championships. Shedeur was playing for respect. And both of them did a pretty decent job of representing, even though Jalen Milrow came up short, but he earned an opportunity to get drafted. I just don't think you could put him and Shedeur in the same locker room. It'll be I don't. It's not. It wouldn't be Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur, but I don't think it'll work with him and Jalen Miro in the same locker room. I really don't think that works. Arizona would be the spot for me. If I'm Shedeur, if I'm Arizona and Shedeur doesn't make the Cleveland Browns, you can balance out. We'll take whatever comes with the kid because all the pressure is on Kyler Murray anyway. If you get where I'm going.
Yeah, no,
And then from that point, we could just go with Shedeur and live it out. And if it don't go well, we just go get another quarterback in next year's draft. Arizona's the spot for Shedeur.
Vegas.
Okay, I get you on that. We're gonna wrap up in a minute. We want to I want to get some predictions down so we can start ciphering down the rest of the NFL, getting ready for the NFL football season. So the NFC East. Who's your favorite to come out of the NFC East?
To win, I definitely got to go with the Eagles. I don't think the Eagles going to be as good as they are, or were as good this year as they were last year. And I don't think they're going to repeat as Super Bowl champions. So, but I'm taking them to win the NFC East, and then I'm going to take the Washington Redskins football team Commanders behind them. And I'm gonna throw this curveball in there. I'm gonna take the Giants to come in third and Dallas to be last.
All right. I for some reason I think, and it's amazing how your mind can change over the course of a week, but I can't back out on Dallas. I think I told somebody I think Dallas was going to be surprisingly good this season. So I'm gonna go with the Eagles, the Redskins, well, the Washington Commanders, the Washington Redskins Commanders football team, as you like to say. I'm gonna go with the Eagles, Washington. Then we'll put Dallas in third. Now the interesting thing is this: we've been talking about quarterbacks, rookie quarterbacks per se.
Yeah.
Jackson Dart is becoming somewhat of a darling. I'm not gonna say superstar, but I'm gonna say media darling in New York.
Okay.
So now Russell Wilson was in Pittsburgh last year. Sat out the first 6 weeks of the season. Justin Fields go 4-2. They put Russell in. Well, Russell won't have the opportunity to do that this year. I think Russell has to play. Russell is in the same situation on the back end of his career.
Oh, this
That
is
I
like
believe
yeah,
he's on the back end though.
yeah,
So what he has to show is that he's still Russell Wilson at this level, or else. And I think he has 4 to 8 weeks, just like Caleb has 4 to 8 weeks. I think Russell Wilson has 4 to 8 weeks to show that he's next level Russell Wilson, and there has been no drop off, and that the Giants can actually contend and win in the league this year with Russell Wilson, giving Jackson Dart another year to develop. Keep in mind they have Jameis Winston in the
yeah.
yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Jameis is a hell of a backup, man. I think if Jameis, he seems like a great guy, seems like a great team guy, but he don't seem serious all the. He don't seem like he's that serious all the time. And I just think if Jameis had a little bit different approach and a little bit different image as far as approach to the game, he could probably still be playing on a high level. Now, don't get me wrong, he turns the ball over a lot,
Yeah,
but he's a hell of a backup.
exactly.
And Jackson Dart, Jameis Winston, and Russell Wilson was named the starter. So I think that's why they got a quarter. They're gonna have a quarterback thing going on in New York. So that's why I got them finishing last. And I think Jackson Dart will be finishing up the season, trying to see if he's the future for the New York Giants. So that's how I got it finishing out the NFC East. I'll go into the NFC South. I got the Buccaneers
Winning it. Yeah.
winning it. Uh, then I got the Falcons, the Panthers, and then the Saints.
That's exactly what I got.
Okay, now Chicago hired Ben Johnson, one of the top or the top coaching hire of the last offseason.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a guy named Kellen Moore for years that was in Dallas. And I think he was with the Eagles
Yeah.
last season, and they won the Super Bowl. And I thought Kellen Moore was a hot name maybe 3 years ago. before the Dallas started having their downfalls with the injuries or bad play on the field. Kellen Moore was a hot name for offensive coordinators. He's now the head coach in New Orleans. Another interesting story. Now, the reason why I say that because while everyone was out saying Ben Johnson was the guy, Kellen Moore was the offensive coordinator that won the Super Bowl.
Right.
Keep that in mind. Now, he just named what's the kid name that transferred out of? We just talked about him last week. Spencer Rattler.
Rattler.
Spencer
Oh yeah.
Rattler has been named the starting quarterback in New Orleans. This is the guy that Caleb Williams beat out or kept off the field in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Then Spencer Rattler transferred to South Carolina. But that's going to be very interesting because now you got Kellen Moore, the Super Bowl winning offensive coordinator for last season, and you got Ben Johnson, the most popular, the most prolific offensive coordinator hire from last year going with the Bears. I want to see how both of those two coaches kind of get it done in their first season. But I think I rounded out my NFC South. How you got your NFC South finishing up the same way?
Mine exactly the same way. The only thing that Kellen Moore piece that I didn't even think about that, but
it was just something. It's something. When I seen that he named Spencer Rattler, I just thought I've been thinking about this for a while because I liked Kellen Moore years ago.
Yeah,
I think he kind of stayed in Dallas a little too long.
Right.
He didn't get off he didn't get off when he was hot.
Exactly. Yeah, and he kind of went down because Dallas didn't, perform like they were supposed to. And even though Ben didn't win, he went to the NFC Championship game. Lions was the highest scoring offense in the league, and he did that for 3 years. I know you said you're a 3-year guy, so I think that's why Ben, transcended him in that way for top name in this year's coaching cycle. But yeah, the Saints, man, they are marching for Arch. That's what they're doing. They tanking this season, so
okay.
Yeah, that's what they doing, marching for Arch.
Yeah.
And with Archie Manning he played for the Saints, and I wouldn't be surprised if the NFL kind of greased them skids to make sure that was a reality for Arch Manning to be a New Orleans Saints and the number 1 pick coming into the 2026 season.
I'm gonna take a minute to say hello to a few people that may still or may not be watching anymore, but if they watch the playback, they see that we shouted them out. My man TJ Moore, one of my old classmates, Nigel Burns, and on old school, he was a little bit ahead of me. He was a little bit ahead of me in the classroom, but my man Taylor Fleming, Senior. Those guys, 2 of them guys went to school with me, and one of those guys I've worked with back in the day. But those guys took out the time to check us out. I'd like to send them a shout out tonight. So we see you. Even though we didn't get a chance to, I didn't get a chance to get off into their comments. Taylor had a lot going on. He had a lot to say tonight. I think he said, let me see. I don't know if he's talking about Russell. I don't know what Wilson he's talking about, but he's talking about comparing something. That I guess if Kyler Murray didn't work out, that they pick up some. I don't know if he's talking about Russell Wilson or who, like they did Kurt Warner back in the day. And make this. I don't know about that, but that's something we got to improve on. Trying to get these comments in and trying to get people to join the show. Hopefully, but as we put more time in. But I want to send out, take out the time to shout those guys out. And what was it tonight? We were supposed to go over the NFC East,
we did
the NFC South.
Yep.
Best case scenario in Cleveland to keep all the noise down behind the Dylan Gabriel, and we can wrap up. Best case scenario in Cleveland, and they can kill all of the Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders noise down, Joe Flacco has to play extremely well in Cleveland and shock the world, and he would shut everybody up. Watch the game. We'll be getting back at you. College football gonna be kicking off soon.
This Saturday.
Yeah, your Wolverines kickoff. They got Texas. I think Texas is ranked #1 in the country.
Big Noon versus Ohio State.
Yeah, I don't know why Texas. I guess it's the Arch Manning thing for a kid that has not played virtually. He ain't even played 5. I don't even think he started 5 games yet. But Texas is #1. So, and maybe we'll get a chance to talk about some college football soon. And coming up soon, hopefully, maybe before we even get into the NFL kickoff. Watch the game. Forgot to tell you guys to subscribe, like the video, and share the video. We out.